It is incredibly difficult for winners not to constantly win. I'm now going to give you a case study of winning too much that almost all of my clients fail. And I'm going to make a prediction. Almost all of you will fail this case study. And when I say fail, you will fail yourself. Are we ready? You want to go to dinner at restaurant X. Your husband, wife, friend, or partner wants to go to dinner at restaurant Y. You have a heated argument. You go to restaurant Y. It was not your choice. The food tastes awful and the service is terrible. Option A, critique the food. Point out our partner was wrong. This mistake could have been avoided had only you listened to me, me, me. Option B, shut up. Eat the stupid food. Try to enjoy it and have a nice evening. What would I do? What should I do? Almost all of my clients, what would I do? Critique the food. What should I do? Shut up. How many people in the room, please raise your hands, have ever critiqued the food before? Hands in the air. Yes, a room filled with food critiquers. Food critiquers. Now, is that smart or stupid? Stupid, very stupid. And as stupid as that was, I'm going to give you an example now that is so stupid, it will make that one pale by comparison. And I will predict at least half the people in the room have done this. Case number 2. You have a hard day at work, a hard day. Under so much pressure, push, 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 more, 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 numbers, numbers, numbers. Such a hard day, you go home. Your husband, wife, friend, or partner is there, and the other person says, I had such a hard day today. I had such a tough day. And we reply, you had a hard day. You had a hard day. Do you have any idea what I had to put up with today? Do you think you had a hard day? We are so competitive, we have to prove that we are more miserable than the people we live with. I gave this example to my class at the Dartmouth Tech School. A young man in the back raised his hand. He said, I did that last week. I asked him, what happened? He said, my wife looked at me. She said, honey, you just think you've had a hard day. It is not over. Now, I'm going to ask everyone in the room to pick one behavioral change that's going to help you be more effective. Maybe you need to be, who needs to be more patient? Raise your hand, more patient. She's so impatient, she was the first one to raise her hands. So impatient. Who needs to listen a little better? Listen, who needs to listen better? Let's just take listening. If you become a better listener, what happens to your score on treating people with respect, up or down? Coaching, customer satisfaction, friend and family member. See, the way you get better at everything is don't try to change everything. None of us are going to change everything anyway. Let's just pick one thing. You don't have to pick anything I've discussed so far. You're going to pick one thing, and you're going to say, if I get better at this, it's going to help me have a better life, or the people around me have a better life. You're going to talk to your partner. You're going to say, good partner, here's one behavioral change for me. Here's why if I get better at this one thing, it's going to help me have a better life, or the people around me have a better life. Do you all understand the rules? I forgot something. Look up here, look up here. I forgot something. If you cannot think of even one thing that you do need to improve, pick humility. To your marks, get set, talk to your partner. Go. What's one thing you want to change and why does it matter? Talk, talk, talk. Okay, stop. We are now going to practice feed forward. Feed forward. Shh, shh, shh. Now, I love feed forward. This is a very positive, upbeat way to help yourself and other people get better. And we're going to have a little competitive exercise. You're going to get a chance to talk to as many people in this room as you can talk to. Now, I'm going to ask you some questions. Do not reply until I go like this. If the answer is yes, I want you to say yes in a very loud voice. If the answer is no or you do not know, remain silent. If the answer is yes, you say yes. If the answer is no or you don't know, remain silent. Are we ready? Are there some smart people in this room? Yes or no? Yes. If you had a chance to learn from these smart people, would you like to do that? Yes. Are there some nice people in this room? Yes or no? Yes. If you had a chance to help these nice people, would you like to help them? Yes. You're either going to be learning from these smart people, which is good, or helping these nice people, which is also good. Therefore, it is all good. Now, what are the rules of Feed Forward? Rule number 1 is no feedback about the past. No feedback about the past. We spend too much time in our life talking about the past. Look up here. How many of you have been impressed with your wife, husband, or partner's near photographic memory of your previous sins, which have been documented? The gift, put it in the closet. If you already have the gift, repackage it and give it to your mother-in-law. Who cares? Just say thank you, right? Now, here's the way this is going to work. You're going to say, my name is, I want to get better at. The person's going to give you 1 or 2 very quick ideas for the future and no feedback about the past. What if the person gives you the dumbest idea in the world? No matter what they say, what do you say back? Thank you. The other person says, my name is, I want to get better at. 1 or 2 very quick ideas. Thank you. Then you shake hands and talk to someone else. Your mission is to talk to as many people as you can possibly talk to in the next 4 minutes. This exercise needs to be positive, simple, focused, and fast. Positive, simple, focused, and fast. Maybe 10 or 20 seconds for each idea. Thank you. Then you shake hands. You say, I want to get better at, give me ideas. She gives me ideas, thank you. She says, I want to get better at, give her ideas, thank you. Then we shake hands. Then raise your right hand. That's going to be the signal that you don't have a partner. Somebody else is going to come back. You're going to do it again and again and again for 4 minutes until I say stop. You all understand the rules? Are we ready? Stand up. Do not start with your partner. To your marks, get set, go, 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 go. Okay, just now. 40. When did I start? 3:25? So 3:25, let's work backwards. So right around 5 o'clock.
Hello, my name is Mana. I want to get better at exercising daily.
Get a coach to help you. I have a coach. Get someone to help you. We all need help.
My name is Vani.
What do you want to get better at?
I want to lose my temper very soon.
Every day evaluate yourself on one question. Did I avoid speaking when angry or out of control?
Sorry.
How many times did I speak when angry or out of control? Every day measure that.
Thank you. Better at making decisions.
What do you want to get better at?
I'm trying to expand my business in Southeast Asia.
You what?
I'm trying to expand my business in Southeast Asia.
What do you pick one behavior?
I want to be more like focus effort on a single point agenda. I'm into too many things.
Every day, before you commit to anything, keep that priority on your computer, and don't. Before you commit to anything, say, if I commit to this other thing, will it damage my main priority? Okay, stop. Stay where you are. Stop. Remain standing. Stop. Remain standing and stay where you are. Stop. Whoa. Shh, shh, shh. Remain standing. Now, I am going to begin a sentence. I'm going to leave out the last word. You're going to think of a word. Don't say anything until I go like this. When I go like this, you're going to loudly shout out that word, whatever that word is in your mind. So I begin a sentence, leave out a word. You think of a word. I go like this, you shout out the word. Are we ready? This little exercise was great, positive, useful, helpful, fun. People say nice words. I've done this exercise with hundreds of thousands of people around the world. In November, I did this in Moscow, 20,000 people in the audience. People always say it's great, positive, useful, helpful, or even fun. What's the last word you think to describe any feedback activity? Fun. Has anyone ever called you in the office and said, I have feedback I'd like to share with you. Please come into my office. And you said, fun, fun, fun. Fun is the last word you think of. Yet I've done this exercise with hundreds of thousands of people around the world. 95% say it's great, positive, useful, helpful, or even fun. The answer to this question will help you be a better leader and have a happier life. Why? Remain standing. Join a group with 3, 4, or 5 people. If there's 6, 2 groups or 3. Go! 3, 4, 5. Go, go, go. 3, 4, 5. Good. 4:45. Okay. Okay, stop. Stop. Shh, shh. Every group needs a spokesperson. Raise your right hand in the air. Raise your right hand in the air. Hand in the air. Hand. Right hand. Shh, shh. Right hand in the air. Point your right index finger at the ceiling. Point. When I count to 3, point to the spokesperson in your little group. 1, 2, 3, point. Okay, stop. Shh, shh, stop. Now, you have 20 seconds. Come up with as many reasons as you can. Why do 95% of the people say the exercise is positive, useful, helpful, or even fun, no matter what country I'm in? Why? To your marks, get set, talk to each other. Why, talk. You know. Okay, stop. Stop. Now, shh, shh, shh. When I call on you, you just yell the answer up here and I'll repeat it. Why do people say it's positive, useful, or helpful? You're no judging. No judging. If I would have allowed you to judge or critique each other's comments, you would have spent twice as much time debating the comments as listening to the comments. How much do I learn proving to you that you're wrong? Nothing. How much do I learn proving to me that I'm right? Nothing. According to the world, what percent of all interpersonal communication time is wasted on that? 65. Cut that out. Life is much more productive and much more positive. No judging. Another one is, it's fast. It's fast. Well, you know, one thing we do in coaching is we talk too much. I give you my best idea. Let's talk some more. Now I give you my second best idea. Let's talk for an hour. Now I give you my 75th best idea. What happens to the quality of my ideas? I keep babbling. It gets worse and worse and worse. People don't remember our first good idea. They remember our last stupid idea. Another reason people like this exercise is it's focused on a future you can change, not a past you can't change anyway. How many of us have ever made fools of ourselves in front of important people before? How many of us have done that? Yeah. How much fun is it to relive that fool-making experience? That's not too much fun. What's nice about this, it's focused on what you can do, not what you cannot do. One gentleman said, I listen better in this exercise than I've almost ever listened in my life. I asked him why. He said, normally when other people speak to me, I'm so busy composing my next comment to prove how smart I am, I'm not really listening, I'm just composing. He said, it's amazing how much better I could listen when I knew I just had to say thank you. Now the irony is, this gentleman had a Nobel Prize, a scientist with a Nobel Prize, in a management class. I said, you have one Nobel Prize, you might not win two, it's okay. Now, finally, a common misperception of coaching is this. I have to be better than you or smarter than you to help you. Or you must be better than me or smarter than me to help me. Wrong. Better to be two ways, not one way. You come to me and say, I want to get better at X, please help me. I say, I can get better too, please help me. You see how different that feels? Than one person going, you get better, you get better. By the way, I have nothing to improve. Let's just fix you today. Very, very different, very different. We don't have to be better than others to help others. How many of you near the end of the exercise began to feel a need to say to others in this room, I have your problem too. I have your problem too. I have your problem too. How different were everyone else's problems? It doesn't matter what country I'm in. I've been to Saudi Arabia 5 times in the last 3 years. Their culture is a little different. This exercise is all the same. It doesn't matter what country I'm in. We don't have to be better than others to help others. Better off being a fellow human, just stumbling through life, without clear answers to little questions like, who am I? Where are we? And what is going on here? That's all we are anyway. We're not little gods. We're just little confused people stumbling around. Much, much better off just to be that. And did any of you near the end of the exercise begin to hear in the back of your mind a voice, a little voice, a small voice going, excuse me, you know all those great ideas you keep giving to the other people? Why don't you do any of them yourself? Well, some of us heard that little voice. I don't have to be better than you to help you. Let's just be two human beings and try to help each other. And finally, what do you say to all the good people in the room just helped you? Thank you. And let's have a big round of applause for all the good people who just helped you. Big round of applause. Okay, go back and sit by your partner. Go back and sit by your partner. Okay, click. Next slide. Very good. Now, how can we use these things to develop ourselves as leaders and partners? Number one, I'm going to teach you a proven model that's backed by research from over 86,000 people from around the world that's published, and almost 250,000 now that's not published. Are we ready? Step one, get in the habit of asking a question. What is that simple question? How can I be a better? A question we don't ask enough in life. How can I be a better? Now let's practice that yes exercise thing again. Are we ready? That answer is yes, you say yes. That answer is no, you remain silent. In your fine organization, is customer satisfaction important? Yes. Should we ask our customers for their good ideas? Yes. Should we listen to our fine customers? Yes. Do you have a husband, wife, or partner at home? Yes. Have you spent a lot of time at home asking that partner, what can I do to be a better partner in our relationship? Member. How can you be a better father, better mother, better daughter? After we ask that question, we set up an expectation. What do people expect us to do next? Listen. And the first thing we want to do is the last thing we should do. What's that? Ask for input, then express my opinion. If I ask you for input and immediately start expressing my opinion, what does that sound like? Defensiveness, denial, rationalization, making excuses. Fight that urge to make excuses and just listen. The next thing is think. And by the way, don't speak when angry, don't speak when out of control. Breathe. Think. What is this person telling me? You don't have to agree with them, just think. And then thank people and don't punish the messenger. Don't punish those good people who are trying to help you. Now we're going to do that yes thing again. You didn't do good on that last yes exercise, did we? Not too good. No, we're going to do it again. I'm going to give you a second chance and we're going to see if you do better. The rules are the same. If I go like this, you say yes. Would you agree with me? Are your coworkers important? Should we ask them for their ideas? Yes. Encourage them to tell the honest truth. Yes. And would you agree with me that punishing the messenger, punishing those people who are trying to help us, yelling at those people who are trying to tell us the truth, that would be a very bad idea. Yes. A terrible idea. Yes. An awful idea. Yes. Am I in a room surrounded by hypocrites? Now, you told me punishing the messenger was a bad idea. I heard it. A terrible idea, an awful idea. I'm now going to give you a case study in your own life when someone gave you honest feedback. Maybe someone who loved you. Maybe someone trying to save your life. And I'm going to say, did you say thank you to that person? Or did you yell at that good person who was trying to help you? Are we ready for the case study? You have a hard day at work, a hard day. You go home. Your husband, wife, friend, or partner's there. You get in the car to go to the store. You're driving to the store. Lots of traffic. Cars are cutting in front of you. That person in the front seat goes, "Look out, there's a red light up ahead." Did you say, "Thank you"? Or perhaps something that sounded a little more like, "What do you mean there's a red light ahead? Don't you think I can see? I know how to drive this car. Why don't you be quiet and let me drive?" Look at the guilty faces out there. Guilty, guilty, guilty. Now, how many of us have ever yelled at that person in the front seat before? Hands up. Guilty, guilty, guilty. What was the cost of that nice person saying, "Hey, there is a red light ahead"? What did that cost anyone? Nothing. What could that have saved? Your life. That person's life and the lives of other innocent people. If someone gives us something that has a fantastic potential benefit and costs absolutely zero, what should we say to this good person? Thank you, thank you, thank you. Look up here. The next time you're driving and that person corrects your driving, you're going to go just like this. Thank you. Talk to your partner 20 seconds and answer this question. Why do we scream at that person in the front seat instead of just saying thank you? Go, talk to your partner. Why are we yelling? Okay, stop. Why do we yell at this person?
Because we think we have been attacked.
Oh, shh. He feels like he's being attacked by the other person. Oh, the poor boy's being attacked. Oh, how sad. Why do we yell at this person?
Because it's already so much of tension when the other person is yelling and there's a red light. So
Oh, the other person is adding to his stress. Oh, you poor boy. Why do you yell at this person? Oh, he's already stressed and he couldn't help it. He's a victim of the stress. Was that it? Why do we yell at this person? 2 words. Ego and pride. Too much ego and too much pride. Now I have a question. Do we pay a price later for this prideful and egotistical outburst? Yes or no? Yes. A happy price or a sad price? A smart outburst or a stupid outburst? Stupid outburst. Too much ego and too much pride. Now I'm going to give you two examples of ego, pride, and asking for input. I'm going to give you a very negative example and a positive example. First, the negative example. And the guy is an NRI, Dr. Atul Gawande, a wonderful man. He wrote a book called The Checklist Manifesto. Have any of you read this book before? A wonderful book. By the way, if you ever get a chance to have him as a speaker, Dr. Gawande is a great guy. In his book, The Checklist Manifesto, Dr. Gawande makes a very sobering point. If you go in for a surgery and the nurse asks the doctor a series of very simple questions before the surgery, the odds on unneeded infection plummet and the death rate's cut by 2/3. This is not a theory. This is a statistical fact. The huge majority of hospitals around the world, and I'm sure India is no better, do not allow the nurse to ask the doctor the question. What is the first question? Did you wash your hands? Why? Ego. According to Dr. Gawande, more people in the United States have died because of the egos of surgeons than died in the Vietnam War, the Afghan War, and the Iraqi War put together. Too much ego. That's the negative story. Now the positive. For 9 years, I trained admirals in the United States Navy. Now, I don't charge them any money because their billing bureaucracy is so painful. I said, look, we'll both make more money if you pay me nothing. So don't help me here. I don't charge them money, but they give me treats. A few years ago, my treat, day in a nuclear submarine. Me and 8 other old men got to go out on a nuclear submarine all day, diving under the waters, pretending to torpedo things. Oh, that was fun. 2 years later, I got a better treat. Where did I have to go? Highway to the danger zone. Have any of you seen the movie Top Gun? I got to fly 95 minutes on a U.S. Navy Top Gun fighter jet. 6 Gs, oxygen, yeah, flying upside down. And I'm very proud to say I did not throw up. Now, by the way, this was horrifying. The pilot says, let's go up. 6 Gs, up. I'm thinking, man, up is bad. Up is very, very bad. Up, bad. Then they stalled the plane down. All of a sudden, I realized something. There's one thing much worse than up. Down. 700 miles an hour, straight down. Oh, and that earth is moving at your face. And my head is going, you're not going to die. You're not going to die. My body's going, you're going to die. Well, before we took off, I noticed this young man is asking my host a series of very simple questions from a checklist. First question for the doctor is, did you wash your hands? First question for the admiral pilot is, how much fuel did you have? I said, sir, this is puzzling. The doctor doesn't like the nurse asking the question because their ego is too big. Now I said, no offense, sir. No one in the world has a bigger ego than a U.S. Navy Top Gun fighter jet pilot who becomes an admiral. You get the biggest ego in the world. Yet you do not care this kid asks you the questions. I said, sir, what is the difference? He said, Marshall, there is a huge difference. If the operation crashes, you die. If the plane crashes, I die. He said, put a gun to the doctor's head and say, if this patient dies of an unneeded infection, we're going to blow your brains out. They'd ask the questions twice. Well, how important is our ego? Every day we make it more important than our health, our safety, the people we love. Let's just get over that ego and pride nonsense. Life is a whole lot better. Ask, listen, think, think. Now, the next thing is respond. How many of you are aware of the term 360-degree feedback? Raise your hand. 360 feet. Yes, pretty much all of you heard of this term. Yes, I'm a pioneer in the world of 360-degree feedback. I'm a pioneer. I'm going to warn all of you in advance. It's not always good when people refer to you constantly as a pioneer. What does that mean? Old. Then it gets worse. They give you the Lifetime Achievement Award. What does that mean? Looks like he's about to go now. Well, I don't know much about much, but I know a whole lot about how to respond to feedback. If you ever get 360-degree feedback the rest of your life or coach someone who does, here's exactly how to deal with it. Positive, simple, focused, and fast. I'd say, Mr. Coworker, we're going through this feedback, and the first thing I want to say is thanks to everybody who participated. I don't know who said what. I know a lot of people took the time to help me. I just want to say how grateful I am. I have nothing to lose and so much to gain. Second, Mr. Coworker, a lot of my feedback is positive, ethical, dedicated, hardworking, caring about our company and customers, and creative and getting results. These are important values to me. I'd hope would score high and did. I want to say how grateful I am. Then don't say but, say and there's something I would like to improve. As a leader, my advice, pick one thing. Don't pick some laundry list of things. You're not going to change some laundry list anyway. Pick one. And whatever you pick needs to come from your heart. Because if it doesn't come from your heart, you won't do it anyway. It might sound like this. You know, Mr. Coworker, one thing I want to do is be a more effective listener. If I haven't listened to you or the other people, I'm sorry. Please accept my apologies. There is no excuse. We all make mistakes. It's okay. What should I do if I make a mistake? Apologize. And if we feel like blaming somebody for our mistakes, who's the best person for us to blame? Let's blame ourselves. Do you want everybody else to take responsibility as a leader? Let them watch you take some responsibility. You want them to take responsibility? Let them watch you take some responsibility. Then the next thing is don't ask for more feedback about the past. Feed forward. Ask for ideas for the future. I'd say, Miss Coworker, I'm not going to ask you for more feedback about the past. You know what? I can't change it anyway. I'm going to ask you for ideas for the future. If you had to have ideas to help me be a positive and open-minded listener in the future, what would they be? Whatever she says, sit there, shut up, listen, take notes, say thank you, don't judge. Never promise to do everything people suggest. Leadership's not a popularity contest. I'd say, Miss Coworker, I cannot promise to do everything you and everyone suggest. I can promise to listen to everyone, to think of the ideas, and do what I can. I cannot change the past. I can change the future. And you know what? I cannot get better at everything. Certainly get better at one thing. And if you do not mind, I'm going to involve you and ask you to help me get better. Then the next thing is involve that person. Ask them to help you out, and then change. I had been in business for 12 years before anybody asked me the great existential question. What was it? Does anybody ever really change? Does anybody ever really change? I said, you know, I have 12 years experience, a PhD in organizational behavior. I have no research to prove it, so I guess I don't know. For 29 years, I've been answering that question. Now I do know. I know who changes, who doesn't change, why people change, and why they don't change. The key to making change last is you have to follow up and stick with it. What does that sound like? Miss Coworker, 2 months ago, I said I wanted to be a positive and open-minded listener. Based on the last 2 months, give me ideas for the next 2. Mr. Coworker, 4 months ago, I said I wanted to be a positive and open-minded listener. Based on the last 2 months, give me ideas for the next 2 months. 6 months, 8 months, 10 months. Now, what happens if you follow this simple process? I'm going to answer this not from a research point of view, or a theory point of view, but from a research point of view. This is a study called Leadership is a Context Sport. It's on my website, or if you send me an email, marshall@marshallgoldsmith.com, I'll send you a copy of it. This is a study involving 86,000 participants that won an award, and we've replicated this with 248,000 people from around the world. By the way, the best scores in the world are here. So the best scores in the world are in Asia. This works in every country. The best scores in the whole world, though, are right here. Now, this works in every country, it works in every industry, and it works at every level of management from a first-line supervisor to a CEO. This stuff pretty much always works. In our research, every leader got feedback. They were all asked to pick something to improve and talk to people and follow up, just like I illustrated. And then we did a survey a year later and said, has this person become a more effective leader? When people said my coworker did no follow-up, -3 became less effective as a leader, 0 didn't change, +3 more effective. 5 companies ask exactly the same question. Well, if you know about probability and statistics, that looks a little bit better than a normal distribution curve. I've done something called a control group study. No training, no feedback, no nothing. The control group did this well. Might as well have been watching situational comedies, total waste of time. Table 2, when people said a little follow-up, a little better. Table 3, some follow-up. Click to next slide. A lot better. Table 4, click to the next slide. A whole lot better. And finally, table 5, click to the next slide. Huge improvement. They all went to the same program. It was all taught by the same person in most cases, me, and they got feedback on the same process at the same time. What did I learn? To quote my friend Alan Mulally, if you get better, it doesn't have much to do with me. It's got a lot to do with you. Everything I taught you this afternoon works. It doesn't kind of work or sort of work or only work in this country or that country. It always works. Shockingly, it doesn't work if you don't do it. And the challenge is not understanding it. The challenge is doing it. When my book, What Got You Here Won't Get You There, was the #1 best-selling business book in America. The #1 best-selling diet book in America sold 10 times as many copies. Americans get fatter and fatter and fatter while purchasing more and more diet books. If purchasing diet books would make you thin, Americans would be the thinnest people who have ever lived. No one loses weight because you purchase a diet book. You got to go on the diet. Now, I made one mistake with that book. Too late now. The title. I love the title. What got you here won't get you there. If I had to write the book over, I would have changed the title. I should have named the book, What Got You Here Won't Get You There, Diet. Then I would have really sold a lot of copies. Now you're going to talk to your partner 20 seconds and answer this question. What's one thing you just learned in the last 40 minutes that you can take back and use to either help yourself have a better life or the people around you have a better life? Go! Talk to your partner. Talk, talk, talk. Okay, stop. As I promised, I'm now going to teach you something that takes 3 minutes a day, costs nothing. Is it going to help you get better at almost anything? It's called the daily question process. Are we ready? Are we ready? Look into the eyes of your partner. Look into the eyes of your partner. Look into those eyes. I want you to imagine your partner is going to call you on the phone every day for the rest of your life. Every day for the rest of your life, your partner is going to call you. Now, I have a woman call me on the phone every day. Why? Every day she calls me and listens to me read questions I wrote every day and provide answers I wrote every day. Someone asked me, why do you have this woman call you every day? Don't you know the theory about how to change behavior? I wrote the theory about how to change behavior. That's why I have a woman call me every day. My name is Marshall Goldsmith. I got ranked #1 leadership thinker in the whole world, #1 coach in the whole world. I have a woman call me on the phone every day just to listen to me read questions I wrote every day and provide answers I wrote every day. Why do I do this? My name is Marshall Goldsmith. I'm too cowardly to do this by myself. I'm too undisciplined to do this by myself. I need help, and it's okay. Now, we all need help, and it's okay. For example, who needs to be a better listener? Raise your hand. Better listener. Hands up in here. Better listener. Let's get over here. Sir, stand up. Yes, you, stand up. He raised his hand quickly. What's your name, sir? YP. Let's hear it for YP. Now, YP, how many years have you been needing to be a better listener, YP? How many years has this been going on now? 54 years. Raise your right hand, repeat after me. My name is YP.
My name is YP.
I need to be a better listener.
I need to be a better listener.
I have not fixed this by myself in 54 years.
I have not fixed this by myself for 54 years.
Who am I kidding? I'm not going to fix this by myself in the future.
I'm not going to be able to fix it by myself in the future.
I need some help.
I need some help.
And it's okay.
And it's okay.
Let's hear it for YP. Okay, now, one thing I'm very proud of in my book, Triggers, 27 major CEOs endorsed that book. 27. CEO of the Year in the United States, President of the World Bank, CEO of the world's largest company, 27 major CEOs. Why am I so proud of that? 30 years ago, no CEO would admit to having a coach. They would have been ashamed to have had a coach, embarrassed to have a coach. Why am I so proud today? My name is Jim Kim. I'm the president of the World Bank. I need help. It's okay. My name is Francis Hesselbein. I won the Presidential Medal of Freedom. I need help. It's okay. My name is Alan Mullally. I was CEO of the Year. I need help. It's okay. We all need help, and it's okay. We've all got this stuff we haven't fixed in 40 years. We know it. If you haven't fixed it in the last 10 years, why do you think you're going to fix it next week? It's not going to happen. Who in the room has a boss, and you have to make numbers? Two characteristics. You have a boss, and you have to make those numbers every year. Any of you like that? You have a boss, you got to make some numbers? You do. You again. You got a boss? You at the board, right? You got to make those numbers? Stand up, stand up. You got a boss. You got to make those numbers. Come on, come up here. Now, you got a boss, you got that board, right?
Well, really our members, but yeah.
Members. You need to make numbers. Now, let's imagine you overachieve on every number this year by 25%. 25% above all targets. Let's hear it for him. 25% above all targets. What are the odds anybody going to say next year, lower the numbers? No.
It didn't happen like that.
What's going to happen next year's numbers?
They raise them.
Your first name is?
Graham.
I want you to raise your right hand and repeat after me. My name is Graham.
My name is Graham.
And it's always going to be crazy.
And it's always going to be crazy.
Let's hear it for Graham. Let's hear it over here. Now, who is an entrepreneur that you're your own boss? You are the boss. Okay, you. Come on, come up here. What's your first name? Let's hear it for Mala. Very good. Yay! Come on up here. Now, you are the boss.
Yes.
Now, what happens if you overachieved, Mana, what happens if you overachieve on every one of your goals next year by 20%? Let's pretend she overachieves on her goals 20% above all targets. Let's hear it for a big round of applause.
I'll be very happy.
But what are the odds you're going to say next year, let's lower the goals?
No.
What's going to happen next year?
Always up.
Always up. Now, you see, yours is different than Graham. See, Graham said, my name is Graham, and it's always going to be crazy. You have to say something a little different. Ready? Raise your right hand. My name is Mana,
My name is Mana.
and I am always going to be crazy.
And I am always going to be crazy.
By the way, how many of you are entrepreneurs out there? Entrepreneurs, raise your hand. Entrepreneurs are the worst. And by the way, all you entrepreneurs, who's that crazy person that's driving you every day? Well, in a sense, it doesn't matter if you have a boss. It doesn't matter if you are the boss. It's always going to be crazy. Now, very important, say, what can I do in the middle of all this crazy time? Why don't people do what I teach? I'm going to make a bet. I'm the only teacher you've ever met that's collected input from tens of thousands of people. And I ask them, did you do what I teach and did you get better? Hey, the good news is people that do this stuff get better. I got even better news. The people that do nothing don't get worse. It's all the same. So they either get better or they stay the same. It's all good. Why don't people do what I teach? Years ago, my biggest client was Johnson & Johnson. Do all of you know this company, Johnson & Johnson? You had the privilege of working with their top 2,000 leaders, all the way from CEO down to number 2,000. At the end of my class, I asked them, pick one thing to improve, talk to people, follow up, and they're part of that research study I just showed you. What happened? 98% of the leaders said, I'm going to do what Marshall taught me. 98%. A year later, 70% did something and 30% zero, not 1 minute. I'm not ashamed of these numbers. I'm proud. 70% of 2,000 people is 1,400 people getting evaluated by 10 coworkers each. 14,000 people had a better life. I'm certainly not ashamed of that. I talked to people who did nothing and said, why'd you do nothing? Their answer had nothing to do with ethics, values, or integrity. They won an award that year, most ethical company in the world. They're good people. I'm sure you're good people. Had nothing to do with intelligence, whether they're smart. I'm sure you're smart. The reason people did nothing had to do with a dream. Yes, a dream. This is a dream I've had for years, and I'm going to make a prediction. Many of you have had this dream. Many of you have had this same dream. Many of you have had this same dream on a recurring basis for years. And this dream is going to describe why in life we don't do what we know we should. Some of you are skeptical now. You know what you're thinking? He doesn't know my dreams. Don't bet against me. What's a dream sound like? You know, I'm incredibly busy right now. Given pressures of work and home and new technology that follows me everywhere, and emails and voicemails and competition, I feel about as busy as I ever have. Sometimes I feel overcommitted. I don't tell others this, but every now and again my life feels just a little bit out of control. But you know, I'm working on some very unique and special challenges right now. And I think the worst of this is going to be over in about 3 or 4 months. And after that, I'm going to take 2 or 3 weeks and get organized. And I'm going to spend some time with my family. And I'm going to begin my new Healthy Life program. And after that, everything is going to be different. And it won't be crazy anymore. How many people in the room have ever had a dream that sounds like that dream? We have a room filled with dreamers. Well, there's not going to be in 2 or 3 weeks. Sanity's not going to be prevailing. You want to do something different. When do you need to start? Now. Now, let's talk about the daily question process. Here's how it works. You're going to get out a spreadsheet, and on one column, you're going to write down a series of questions that represent what is most important in your life. Friends, family, health, coworkers, whatever it is for you. Every question must be answered with a yes, a no, or a number. And at the end of the week, that spreadsheet will give you a report card. I will warn you in advance. That report card at the end of the week may not be quite as beautiful as the corporate values you see stuck up on the wall. I've been doing this for years. When you do this every day, you know what you quickly learn? You learn that life is incredibly easy to talk, and life is incredibly difficult to live. When you do this every day, you're not looking at those talk values. You're looking at those live values. That's tough. Now, I'm going to share some of my questions. They're not intended to be yours. You write your own questions. One of my questions every day is this. How many times yesterday did you try to prove that you were right when it was not worth it? I've almost never got a 0 my whole life. Kind of hard for that old professor not to be right all the time. How about that young entrepreneur? Any of you try to be right just a little bit too much? How many angry or destructive comments did you make about people yesterday? Well, I don't see too many zeros on that one either. How many steps did you take? How many push-ups? How many sit-ups? Did you say or do something nice for your wife, for your son, for your daughter, for your son-in-law, for your grandchildren? Just questions about life every day. Now, my friend Jim Moore would tell you this saved his life. It didn't kind of save his life. It did save his life. What's one of his questions every day? Are you currently updated on your physical exam? The first 90 days he did this, he said no every day. After 90 days, he said, I got to get the dumb exam or quit asking. You got the dumb exam. What did the doctor say? You have cancer. Now, that was many years ago. He's going to be fine. The doctor also said, had you waited 7 more months, you would have been dead. He knew he should have got a physical exam. He was 65 years old. He just didn't do it. Hold a mirror in your face every day. It's hard to hide. It's very hard to hide. Everyone look up here. How many people in this very room have ever avoided a physical exam before and told yourself, I'm going to get that exam after I go on my healthy food diet and begin the exercise program? Come on, look at all these hands. Now, did we trick the doctor with that strategy? I was teaching at the University of Michigan, man raised. I said, "Sir, did you trick the doctor with that strategy?" He looked at me and goes, "I am the doctor." I want you to talk to your partner 20 seconds. And here's what you're going to say. You're going to say, "Here's one question I should challenge myself with every day." You say, "Here's one question I should challenge myself with every day." Go back and forth until I say stop. Go! Talk to your partner. Talk, talk, talk. Doing great. Okay, stop. Now I'm going to share our new research. This is in my book, Triggers. My daughter Kelly got a PhD from Yale. She's a professor at Vanderbilt, and she's helping me in this area of something called active questions. And we were studying employee engagement, and Kelly pointed out something. Almost every one of these employee engagement studies ask passive questions. Kelly said, "Daddy, you ought to train people something called active questions. This gets people to take responsibility instead of just blaming others." A typical employee engagement survey question is, do you have meaningful work? Do you have a friend at work? Do you have clear goals? Well, those are all passive questions. When you ask a passive question, a person has a negative response, they blame the environment. Kelly taught me the value of something called active questions, and active questions that begin with the phrase, "Did I do my best to?" Now here's some very simple advice I have for everyone in the room right now. This doesn't even take 3 minutes a day. Every day, test yourself on these 6 questions, and every day test your coworkers. Have them test themselves on these 6 very simple questions. And they all begin with the phrase, "Did I do my best to?" Did I do my best to? Question number 1, set clear goals. Rather than saying, "Did somebody set clear goals for me?" did I do my best to set my own goals? Number 2, making progress toward goal achievement. Rather than saying, "Did the company help me achieve goals?" did I do my best to achieve my own goals? Number 3, did I do my best to find meaning? Rather than saying, "Did the company give me meaning?" did I do my best to create meaning in my own life? Number 4, did I do my best to be happy? Rather than saying, "Did the rest of the world make me happy?" did I do my best to make myself happy? Let's stop and talk about this one. I never coached a medical doctor until recently. In my book, Triggers, and I have the permission to use their names, 3 of the medical doctors I coached. One, I mentioned Dr. Jim Kim. Simultaneous MD and PhD with honors from Harvard in anthropology. Now he's president of the World Bank, a brilliant man. Dr. John Noseworthy, head of the Mayo Clinic, #1 hospital in the world. And Dr. Raj Shah from India here. He was Indian American of the Year in the United States. Now he's head of the Rockefeller Foundation. 3 of the smartest men I ever met. All 3, I asked them independently this question, how would you score on, did I do my best to be happy? All 3 had the same answer. It never dawned on me to try to be happy. It never dawned on me to try to be happy. Now, they're all medical doctors. I said, "Did it dawn on you you're going to die?" They said, "Yeah, we figured that one out." I said, "Do you think this is a silly question or a stupid question?" They said, "No, it's an important question." I forgot to ask. I forgot to ask. Talk to your partner. I want you to answer this question. 1 to 10 scale. 10 is high, 1 is low. What score would you give yourself the answer to this question on an average day? Did I do my best to be happy? Go, talk to your partner. 1 to 10 scale. What score would you give yourself? Okay, stop. The average score in the world on this is right about a 5.5. The average score in the world is right about a 5.5. Think about that. Remember when you were in school? If you took a test and you got 55 out of 100, would you be proud of it or ashamed of it? You'd be ashamed of it. That test is way more important than a test in school. My advice, raise the score. Raise that score. Did I do my best to build positive relationships? And then finally, did I do my best to be fully engaged? Now, we've done some amazing research on this. Can you click ahead? Oh, click backwards, back again. Stop. We've done some amazing research where we have people every day test themselves just on these 6 questions, and then later we measure, did things get better? What did we learn? When people do this every day, 2,793 participants in 95 studies, 34% of the people said I got better at everything. 67% said I got better at least 4 items. 91% said I got better in 1. 9% said things stayed about the same, and almost nobody got worse. Why? Every day these questions get me to focus on the one thing I have total control over. What is that one question? I can't blame anybody else. Did I do my best? Did I do my best? Now finally, I'm going to finish with my favorite coaching exercise in the whole world. You're now going to get the best coaching advice you're going to get in this or perhaps any other lifetime. Are we ready? Yes. I want everybody to look up here for the last time. I want you to smile. I want you to take a deep breath and go, ah, and ah. Now, next slide. Next slide. I want you to imagine that you're 95 years old, 95, and you're just getting ready to die. You're on that deathbed. Here comes your last breath. Right before you take that last breath, you're given a beautiful gift, a wonderful gift, the ability to go back in time. The ability to go back in time and talk to the person in this room. The ability to help this person be a better leader, much more important. The ability to help this person have a better life. What advice would the wise 95-year-old you, who knows what really mattered in life and what didn't, and what was important and what wasn't, what advice would that wise old person have for the you that's sitting in this room right now? You don't have to say anything or do anything or write anything. Just answer that question in your mind. What advice would that old person have for you? Some friends of mine interviewed old folks who were dying and got to ask this question. What advice would you have? On the personal side, 3 themes. Theme number 1, 3 words. Be happy now. Be happy now. Not next month, not next week, not next year. Be happy now. That great Western disease is sweeping the world. What is the great Western disease? I will be happy when? When I get that money, status, BMW, condominium, I will be happy when? We all have the same when. That old person is when. Learning point from old people. I got so busy chasing what I did not have, I could not see what I did have. And I had everything. Many of you are among the luckiest human beings who've ever lived. Many of you have friends, you have family, you have health. You're doing fun things, you're doing interesting work. Compared to me, you have youth. You got it all. Don't get so busy chasing what you do not have that you cannot see that. Learning point number 2, friends and family. I'm sure many of you work in wonderful companies. When you're 95 years old and you look around that deathbed, none of your coworkers are going to be waving goodbye. You realize these friends and family, they're kind of important. They're the only ones here today. And number 3, if you have a dream, go for it. Because if you don't go for it when you're 35, you may not when you're 45, and you probably will not when you are 85. And it doesn't have to be a big dream. Maybe a little dream. Go to New Zealand, speak Spanish, play a guitar. Other people think your dream is goofy. Who cares? It's not their dream, it's your dream. It's not their life, it's your life. I had a very embarrassing experience 2 years ago was teaching this class in front of a large group like this, and I said, go to New Zealand, speak Spanish. A guy raised his hand and he said, we are in Spain, you idiot. We all speak Spanish. Business advice isn't much different. Number one, life is short. Have fun. Number two, do whatever you can do to help people. And the main reason to help people has nothing to do with money or status or getting ahead. The main reason to help people is much deeper. The 95-year-old you will be very proud of you because you did, and very disappointed if you don't. And if you do not believe this is true, interview any CEO who has retired. I've interviewed very many, and ask them a question. Please tell me, what are you proud of? None have told me how big their office was. All they've ever talked about is the people they've helped. And final advice also saying, go for it. The world's changing. Do what you think is right. You may not win. At least you tried. The final thing is, for me, I'm very honored to work with all of you today. I love what your organization is doing. Many of you are entrepreneurs. I totally identify with your life. I'm very proud of you for having the courage to do what you do. The reason I like to work with a group of you is if I can help you just a little bit, you can help a lot of other people too. Final thing is, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you.
If I could get Dr. Marshall Goldsmith once again on stage, and Murli, Graham, and Mac to present a memento of. We have a bouquet and the Gadlawala hamper. Yeah, and during the next break, Dr. Goldsmith would be signing books out back in the stalls, so feel free to get a book.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yeah. Oh.
Okay, give it up for Dr. Marshall Goldsmith.
Thank you.
Okay, if I could ask Murli Sundaram to come on stage just before we break. He's got some awesome advice. About no. Just some. It's okay. Sorry.
I hope everyone enjoyed this session. Yes? So before we go for a tea break, there are two things. One, buy Marshall's book and get a signature. It's absolutely priceless. And also, how many of you in this room believe that we as entrepreneurs have to become more positive to influence more people? Say yes? So there's one more book available outside by our ex-CEO Norm Dominguez called Magic of Positivity. This is an amazing book which talks about how as entrepreneurs we should influence us to become much more positive and influence our clients and family everywhere. Amazing short stories, and even Graham has written the foreword, and I've also got the opportunity to share one particular chapter in this. The best part is this, BNI Foundation has partnered with Magic of Positivity, Posse Global Foundation. Any book that you buy, 10% of the book is going to the foundation, which is going to help Udan to save type 1 diabetes children. So my request each and everyone in this room is, since we are all entrepreneurs, we want to create impact in society. Let's also eradicate type 1 diabetic children from the society by subscribing to this book. And also as a bonus, get a signature. And each and every book is signed by Norm Dominguez, and you can also get the signature from Graham. So thank you very much, and over to the MC.
Okay, so before we break, before we break, if you can turn to the person on your right and give them a high five and say you're awesome. Person on your left. Turn to the person on your right and give them a massage. Do the same. Turn to your left and give the person a massage. Yeah? On the count of 3, a big hoo-ah. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Please applaud yourselves. And we're now breaking for tea. We've got a half an hour break. Please be back on time for the last part of the proceedings. So we've got tea, and once again, same areas where lunch was, behind the stalls and behind the stage.